Okay, it's my pleasure.
Honorable Olajide Olatubosu is a member of the House Committee on Appropriation and has been speaking with us in our studios here in Abuja. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Well, keeping our focus on the 2018 budget of consolidation, and Tunji Ogunyemi is a budget historian. He joins us on Sunrise Daily. Thank you so much indeed for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
You have had the discussions, as a matter of fact, the National Assembly, the upper chamber and the lower chamber, were all about this and trying to see what we must do to try to see that this budget is passed on time. But questions have been raised. And would you say that the submissions of some of the members, especially at the upper chamber, saying that this budget is fictitious, do you think so?
Yes, you may say wrong choice of words, but they are factual. I think Senator Abaribe has actually said what is right. Very factual, might not put it in a very rough language, but this budget is actually based upon some certain facts that are significantly unrealizable.
When you say it's unrealizable, are you talking in terms of the benchmarks that have been set, looking at 305 naira to the dollar, looking at the inflation on that, which is about 12.5%? How are these all supposed to work together to try to see that this success of the 2018 budget of consolidation is actually actualized?
Yes, I think I would speak more on the issue of inflation and the production ceiling for oil. You see, the Niger Delta is still very restive, and to assume that you will be able to produce 2.2 billion barrels of oil per day, I think it is over-optimistic. 1.8, 1.9, even 1.7 million barrels per day would have been a better option, except you can prove beyond reasonable doubt that the Niger Delta restiveness has been placated significantly. For example, in taking into consideration the implementation of the Niger Delta University. That's very important, and this is very critical to the people and the stakeholders there. And then the second is the inflation rate. I mean, yes, it is true we are getting out of recession, but our recession is not driven by our productivity. It's actually driven by an increase in the price of oil, which is external to us.
So if anything should happen to the price of oil, that means we may be finding shooting ourselves in the foot.
Of course. And of course, that is because of what we have in the blockade of Qatar, in the problems we have in Yemen, and the issue in the Crimea. And these are issues of bubbles and bursts. And you don't do planning by default. I mean, you don't plan the destiny of your economy on default. It has to be on serious plan.
Because you have actually, you're a historian and you've been watching budgets over the past years.
Yes,
if we begin to look at the budget from 2016, for instance, and looking at the implementation and funding of the budget,
yes,
would you say that from 2016 to 2017, some have alleged that we've had just about 15% implementation of the 2017 budget, but the 2018 budget itself, if we have to backdate from 2016 when this administration started, would you say, for instance, that we are making progress from 2016, 2017 budget, and now the budget of consolidation?
Going statistically and historically, I will concede to this administration in terms of the percentage allocation to capital budget. In other words, paper percentage allocation to capital budget. For example, in 2016, 30%. Now, 2017, about, I think, 29.6%. You can say approximately 30%. And in the proposed 2018 budget, clear 30% for capital expenditure. Don't forget, capital expenditure drives the economy. That's the budget you do for creating infrastructure, for maintaining and creating and expanding the frontiers of wealth. That's right. But the fact is, in the allocation, in the release of the capital budget, in other words, the implementation of the budget, I agree budget always have three sides: the revenue side, the expenditure side, and the public debt side. Yes, government is doing very well in terms of recurrent expenditure by paying salaries at the federal level. That's right, Steve.
70% of the budget is okay.
Yeah, of course, because you cannot just cut the recurrent expenditure very suddenly. You can't cut it. But when people speak about implementation of the budget, they actually mean capital budget. Because capital budget is the budget that the government can use to reach the ordinary Nigerians not captured under the recurrent platform. For example, how many civil servants and public servants are in Nigeria that work for government? There are about 3 million. Now, the population of Nigeria is 180 million. That means you are spending 70% of the budget on just 3 million people. Even if you attach 10 persons to one person that hands from government directly, you are talking of just 30 million. 30 million is just about 1/6 of Nigeria's population. And that is abysmal. So the only way by which government can reach the ordinary man is by way of roads, by way of bridges, by way of expanded educational facilities. And this is done essentially in the capital budget. And 30% capital budget allocation, very good. But what of the implementation? Release for